Oh, man. Top of the morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Salute. Now, I know BC usually uses those words at the top of many podcasts, but they've never been more true, those words, than right about now. Because truth is, BC does not know when this recording is going to hit your sub boxes. SmackDown for 6/16/23 just went off the air, and we are recording this podcast, the review, immediately after. That's something we don't usually do on this channel. BC does not like doing that. I do my notes, and then I cover a lot of other business outside of the wrestling world for hours after the show, into the wee hours of the morning. Then, the next morning, over a cup of 2-3 coffees and a clear head, with all the facts needed, all my ducks lined up in a row, all the information needed to distribute to my unit properly. That's how I like to do my reviews. I don't want to be the first one just to be the first one, just to get the most clicks, the most views. I don't want to be talking about pro wrestling at midnight or 1 a.m. Now, I know there's a lot of numbnuts. They go at each other like a pack of wild hyenas after the shows. Some of these numbnuts go live. They just, I don't know, man. They're trying to play the game. No pun intended to Schnoz McGee, Pinocchio Pussface. But they got to play the game, right? They're trying to get the most views imaginable in the shortest amount of time. Be the first one to review the show. Bunch of these idiots do that. Hey, to each their own. The funny part is there's people that are listening. 2 a.m., they should be sleeping. They're like, I got to find out what Billy Buttfuck McGee thinks about the main event, man. I got to know what Fuckwad Fred is thinking about the title change. Well, you can't just fucking watch it the next day? Go to bed. It's pro wrestling, man. It ain't that deep. Even when BC's screaming about it and shit, it's entertainment, man. Even though I know I have to entertain thousands of people. You could be entertained the next day. You could still get a good night's sleep and still be entertained. I tell you, man. But that's never been my jam. You know, you're always, I look at those individuals, I'll be nice, in the community. Those are like the appetizers, right? You get them out of the way, and then here comes the main course, the main event. Here comes BC the next day, strolling in after everybody has given you their thoughts and their opinions. Here comes BC amplified. The big dog wraps it all up. The big dog, we save the best for last, is the old saying. You saved the amplified man for the main event. But see, that's just the setup to where we are right now. See, tonight, it's a little different. BC has to record immediately after the show. So I'm hoping, man, that my notes are on par. Anything that I think I'm going to need more information about, I will not speak too deeply on, because it's not my place to do such until I have those facts. So I will still remain true to myself in this review, even though the show just got off there a few minutes ago. As far as when you guys get it, it could be a couple of hours after this recording. It might be 12 hours after this recording. That's why I say, wherever you are in the world, top of the morning, afternoon, evening, this is a little different, and I don't know when this is going to get out to you guys. I have a lot of travel arrangements that had to get rearranged because BC is out in the world for the next 36 hours-ish, give or take an hour or two. So some things came up, some travel had to be rearranged, and this is the only time I can cut this review. So I'm just letting you guys know if we're doing things a little different, if the review is a little different, if I'm not spending enough time on certain areas that I normally would, it's because BC wants a little bit more information. So I want it in this cold open just to be fully transparent. Things seem a little different. It's because BC is recording immediately after the show, and I don't like doing that. But here we are, such is life. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to down some more of my Dunkin' iced coffee. As you can tell, half of it's already gone. I couldn't wait. This is number 12 of the day, by the way. But this was just too, man. And my last one, too. Last one that was in the fridge. Tomorrow morning, we got to do a whole, whatever's at the airport. I just got to stuff it all in the bag. I got to take everybody's coffee tomorrow at the airport. But we're going to down a little bit more of this right now. Hopefully save some for the review. You guys are going to smash that up, help out the algorithm, and then you're all going to come back, and we're going to get amplified on SmackDown 6/16/23. You want BC's thoughts? You want my opinions? You want me to drop the straight facts on this show? You came to the right place. Ain't nobody going to do it better than the Amplified Man. Let's come on, let's do this properly. It is time to wake up, get up, and get amplified. My unit. So, 6/16/23 SmackDown in the books. The Bloodline has officially imploded. It's official. Jey Uso has made his decision. We're going to talk about it. But this is big news, man. I would have went a different way. I'll explain when we get to the main event segment. If you've been following the channel, you know exactly what BC would have done. But what the company decided to do is what the company decided to do. I think it was the safe bet. I think everybody knew the decision Jey was going to make, and that's why BC would have went a different way. And I even gave, several podcasts ago, I gave some scenarios that you could possibly do, storyline-wise, that would really captivate. But WWE decided to play it safe, but it was still so fucking well done. We'll get to that in the main event segment. At the end of this review, too, there were some super thankses. That thanks button down below. I've been doing this in a lot of podcasts lately because you guys have been chucking coffee at BC left and right. Never needed. Always appreciative, though. I mean, to tip the content creator, I just think that's so humbling. So the last podcast I put up, which was actually earlier this afternoon. Check it out, man. It's the Punk ESPN interview. I cover that. I call out all the clickbaiters, journalists, clickbaiting podcasters, clickbaiting content creators. I mean, the worst of this community came out in the last fucking 48 hours, 24 hours with this CM Punk shit. And who would have thought BC would be defending Phil Brooks? Who would have thought, man? You would have said that would be a cold day in hell, right? But I found myself having to defend Phil Brooks because some of these headlines and thumbnails and articles was just bullshit. But there were several super thankses in that podcast upload. So I'm going to give a shout out to those individuals at the end of this podcast. So that's just a heads up as well. So let's get into this, man. There's a lot to get to. Let's waste no more time. We start the night off with a tag team elimination #1 contenders match. Say that 10 times fast. This is WWE telling us they don't care about the tag division, right? And they can't be bothered to get creative. So here's another match where we throw every single tag team underneath the sun into one gigantic schmoz match. That's what you had. From Street Profits to Pretty Deadly to fucking Sheamus and Holland to, I don't know, maybe they brought back the Killer Bees, maybe the Rockers got back together, Legion of Doom, right? Hawk came back from the great yonder. Hawk is back with Animal, right? Demolition somehow reformed. Heart Foundation back together. British Bulldogs came back together. That's right. Everybody's coming back from the great yonder. Maybe Macho Man can come back with the Warrior and they can form a fucking a tag team. Hogan and Macho, the Mega Powers. Who knows? Every single tag team imaginable. The Harlem Heat. The Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. The Beverly Brothers. The Bushwhackers. I can't even believe I'm naming all these tag teams. Surprised I still remember all of them. What was Paul Roman Hercules? What was Paul Roman Hercules? Damn it, man. Paul Roma and Hercules. Power and Glory, I think, right? There was the Oriental Express. Wow. I don't know what made me think about that. Anyway, this is what WWE does. They put all of their tag teams into one match. And they say, have a match, all of you, just start eliminating each other. And after about 15, 20 minutes, we'll have a team standing, and that's going to be the #1 contenders. And fans are just like, okay, how else are we going to do it, basically? Well, you get creative, and you start a storyline. And if you do it correctly and it's with a team that you would fully believe is, if not next in line, very close to the front of that line for a tag opportunity. And the way that they start this story with the champs, it all makes sense to the point where you're not even questioning it. It's just fun. The titles on the line should be the cherry on top. The whole Sunday, if you're putting strawberry ice cream at the bottom, vanilla in the middle, maybe some chocolate on top, maybe some bananas around it, some walnuts, however you make that Sunday, all those layers, that's all the fun storytelling. The titles being on the line should just be a cherry on top. But instead, this company just looks at just finding the number one contenders and just making the match. And that's that. Right? That's number one contenders. We didn't bother to get creative. We don't have enough time to tell a story anyway. So at the pay-per-view, this is the match you're getting. So you might as well just give us a bowl of cherries. Now, some people love cherries, and that's okay for them. No, some of us want the complete Sunday experience. I want the chocolate ice cream. I want the bananas, the walnuts. Otherwise, it's not a Sunday. Or give me the fucking banana split Sunday, by the way, right? Why should we just get a story? Let's get a good story. Why just get a Sunday? Let's get a banana split Sunday. No, here's a bowl of fucking cherries. You get the bowl of cherries, you open that thing up, it's not even it's one fucking cherry in there. I hope you guys are getting the analogy, because that's what happened here. No shit, man. You just put all the tag teams underneath the sun into one gigantic schmoz match and expecto petroleum. Here's your number one contenders. Pretty Deadly and Sheamus and Holland, the Brawling Brutes, they were the last two teams. Pretty Deadly defeat Sheamus and Holland in the final two, and Pretty Deadly get a tag title shot already. Now, Pretty Deadly going for tag titles, because I don't mind Pretty Deadly. When you think of tag teams, you need teams like that to make a division. Whether you like them or not, whether you think they're absolutely ludicrous, which they are, you still need those type of teams. I said that about the Iconics in the women's division. You may not like them at all. You may think they suck at wrestling. That's fine. But there's a cohesiveness. There's a real tandem and unit. There's a chemistry. They feel like a real team, like they could be sisters. You need a team like the Iconics. If you're truly going to build a women's tag division, you need a team like Pretty Deadly. And the bonus is they can wrestle. I don't think that's even a topic. So my point is, Pretty Deadly getting a tag title shot should be a big deal, but winning a schmoz and then only having 2 weeks to try and tell a story with KO and Zayn, you're setting this up for failure before it even begins. That's BC's problem with it. Now, back from break, they at least attempted to get some juice behind this title match. Owens and Zayn hit the top of the ramp, and Pretty Deadly is still celebrating in the ring. Now, this is well after commercial break. That was basically like a good 5 minutes that Pretty Deadly was celebrating this big victory. And so Owens and Zayn are like, dude, really? Like, what do you... So we have a little... We have a little back and forth verbally before KO and Zayn are like, let's just go punch him in the mouth. So they hit the ring and Pretty Deadly hightails it. So I appreciate the fact that they tried to put some juice into this, because even WWE, even they knew, like, wow, we have the number one contenders and now we have to put this match on in 2 weeks. Or is it next week? No, I think it's the night before Money in the Bank, right? I don't even think it's at Money in the Bank. I think it's the SmackDown before. Or maybe that's Belair and Charlotte. Maybe that would be at Money in the Bank. I don't even care. Somebody will tell me in the comments for sure, but I don't even care. The point is, within the next 2 weeks, you're getting this title match. So even WWE knew, like, we have to jumpstart something here. There is nothing. Literally, Pretty Deadly is winning this match, and people are supposed to care about this in less than 2 weeks. So I appreciate the fact they tried to put juice into this, but it's already a failure. It's DOA, dead on arrival. The way they go about these matches and the number one contenders, it's absolutely befuddling. If that's the case, hold off on Pretty Deadly. So when they do get a title opportunity, make it a real legit storyline. Multiple weeks, possibly. This may sound crazy. BC, did you fall on your dome piece a couple, 2-3 times too many today? Possibly. But here's a crazy concept. Maybe a couple of months of a storyline with Pretty Deadly, right? Everything is just short attention span, on to the next. Pretty Deadly going for KO and Sami Zayn's titles. Okay. Then we go to, who they have? They had Zelina Vega out there next, defeating Iyo Sky via a 619 stack 'em up roll-up combo. So, first let me just say, the entire 90 seconds, that's right, you heard me correctly, this match was about 90 seconds. The whole 90 seconds made Iyo look completely foolish. Iyo is arguing with Bayley for at least 10 full seconds. When the match is about 90 seconds, okay, that's a big chunk of the match. That she's just arguing with Bayley. And it's very minuscule. Bayley did like a slight fuck up for a distraction or something. It was slight, all right? You just turn you say fuck you to Bayley and then you just go about your business. No, she spends the rest of the match just arguing with Bayley and gets a 619 while she's arguing with Bayley. And then off of the 619, she just gets stacked up like you would do for a roll-up. She just gets held down. And that's it. One of the best female wrestlers in the world, Iyo Sky, is just pinned. Now, that's good for Zelina. I was going to say great, but it's a 90-second basic 619, basically a roll-up victory in 90 seconds. I don't know what that really does for Zelina, right? Nobody's going to go forward and go, wow, did you see Zelina's match? Zelina's one of the best pro wrestlers in the world, man. That was incredible what she did with Iyo, right? Nobody's saying that, unfortunately. So, good for Zelina, a W, but I don't know what that does for her. On top of that, as far as Iyo goes, Iyo just looked, it's the word I'll use again for a third time. Iyo looked foolish. Absolutely foolish. Way to make one of the best wrestlers in the world look like one of the most geekiest we've ever seen. Geekiest. If that wasn't a word, it is now. Hour number 2 starts with the Grayson Waller effect. Guest Charlie Flair. You're already seeing a lot less cheers. It's almost the way she was talking with Grayson. You're starting to see it. It's a lot more heelish already, man. You just never know what Charlie is. Every week, every show, it's something different. And it's because she doesn't know what she is. What is this queen character? The fans can't connect. She's got 106 titles. I was going to say title opportunity. No, she has like 106 reigns. I don't know what they're doing, man. And she comes out there last night. Charlie Flair, I don't know what she was wearing. I truly don't. She's out there looking like a demented Christmas ornament or a stripper that was lost in the DIY aisle of Hobby Lobby. I don't know what she was wearing, man. Or a demented Christmas ornament in Hobby Lobby. I don't know, but if you look at what she was wearing, it was like a Christmas ornament with the little like lights at the on the. I don't know what it was. I don't know. These ladies are getting wild with their outfits, man. I used to think Becky Lynch was wild, but some of these ladies are like, hold my coffee. I don't know. That just caught BC's attention. Then Bianca Belair hits the ring. And Bianca Belair is out there looking like the snowflake on top of the Christmas tree. Because she was wearing one of those little onesies. Like a snowflake. So you got the Christmas ornaments in Charlie. And then you got the snowflake in Bianca. And together they're a Christmas tree. To go with the palm trees that Grayson Waller had for his set. Bro, I can't even, man. These bodysuits are crazy. Is that what you call, what I call them, a onesie? Bodysuits. Whatever these ladies are wearing. And for Bianca, by the way. Hallelujah. Salute. Okay? My men know what I'm talking about there, bro. That was top of the morning. Afternoon, evening, salute. I just recalled that actually, right? That was not in my notes. I just had a flashback to Bianca's snowflake outfit. You know what? I'm going to shut up. Keep wearing that shit. Charlie, I don't know what the fuck that was. Maybe we can switch that up. I never thought I'd be saying this. Maybe bring back your little fucking Ric Flair robes. Anyway, I don't know what they're wearing out there. It looked like a couple of fucking dingbats off the fucking avenue in Las Vegas at 2 a.m. You drive around the corner, there's Belair and Charlotte in their little fucking bodysuit onesies. All right, hey, it's late. Can I not have a little bit of fun here? If you saw what they were wearing, you'd be cracking some jokes too. That's all I really have, guys. The fun was just in what they were wearing. It was actually a good back and forth between the two. It truly was. Charlie talking about, well, shouldn't I get a rematch too? Because I never got mine from Rhea. And Belair was like, well, yeah, but the difference is you ran away. I stayed here the whole time and did things the right way. Charlie says, you think I ran away? No, I stepped away. I never ran away, she said. And she said, every single time I lost a championship, I got right back up. You see, that's the difference. I'm a champion with or without the title. Are you? And Bianca says, I was the longest reigning champion, women's champion in the modern era. And I didn't need 14 different title reigns to do it. So that's what I mean. It was actually a pretty good back and forth. But the what they were wearing far outweighed the conversation for BC, man. And then Belair just kind of struts off, man, looking all fucking sexy and shit. She's like, yeah. I mean, you could see her fucking underwear right through the outfit and everything. I mean, she knows she got it working, bro. She knows she's working it. So she takes off. BC's fucking following her. I forget Charlie's in the ring. I'm just like, good to keep the camera on Belair. And that ends the segment. Charlie's just kind of like looking at the hard cam. And I still don't have any better feel or grasp for what Charlie Flair is supposed to be. The only question now is, what are we doing here? Like, how do we do this? We all expect Charlie to defeat Asuka for the title in 2 weeks, right before Money in the Bank. But how does Belair play into this? Would it be a triple threat? Does Belair cost one or the other the match? It'll be interesting to see how they play this off. But this face-to-face word battle, verbal battle between the two last night was actually pretty decent. Or I say last night. By the time you guys get this, it'll be last night. About a half an hour ago. So not too bad, man. I just really, if you didn't watch the show and you don't have time to watch the show, that's fine. Do me a favor though, just get a photo shot somehow, screenshot something of them two in the ring together, their outfits. You will know why we're having fun with that the next day. Especially if it's about a half an hour after the show. It's fresh on our minds. We got to have some fun with those outfits. Check them out, man. You'll know what I'm talking about. Together, it's a Christmas tree. One of them is an ornament. The other one's the snowflake at the top of it. So that was the start of hour 2. Belair and Charlie. No Asuka. She's the champion. Why would she be there, right? With or without a title, they don't know what they're doing with Asuka. They have nothing for her. It's like all of her other title reigns and everything else that she's ever had in this company. It's just to shut people up because that company has nothing for her. In fact, I truly believe it's just a pass it to Charlie. If it's not in 2 weeks, it's only because they're receiving a lot of backlash. And they'll just hold off another few weeks. Cross and Scarlett Bordeaux defeat AJ Styles and Munchkin via pinfall in a mixed tag match next. Now, the best part of this was Scarlett hitting on Styles. Trying to be all sexy in front of him, trying to hit on him like Sable used to do to any dude that was about to take out Mark Marrow. So Scarlett's trying to get all sexy in front of AJ Styles. The best part was Styles looking right at her and showing her his ring on the finger. And Styles audibly, loudly says, "Bitch, I'm married." Come on, man. I'm married, bitch. That was the best part of this match. AJ Styles was not having any of Scarlett. Smart man, you're being recorded. Now afterwards, backstage, maybe the ring accidentally slides off in the shower. I don't know. Maybe bring Scarlett over and have a little talk. I don't know. I'm not condoning it. I mean, it is Scarlett Bordeaux. If you know, you know. I mean, that's one beautiful gal. But I don't condone it. Congratulations, AJ Styles. Yeah, that's a good man right there, standing behind that ring, knowing he's recorded. Absolutely horrible 30-second backstage segment with Cameron Grimes being jumped by Baron Corbin. Cameron Grimes with a button-up shirt looking like a bootleg nerdy Daniel Bryan. What are you doing putting Cameron Grimes in a button-up shirt? Especially with his man bun. He's got a man bun with a button-up shirt. He looks like a nerdy. Just a bootleg version of Daniel Bryan. That or Steven Urkel. The only difference is even Urkel didn't have a man bun. I'd rather put the geeky glasses on the sumbitch. Cameron Grimes is one of my favorite dudes. What are you doing? No. I'm asking, what are you doing? What's the matter for you? That's not what you do with Cameron Grimes. And then on top of that, they just have him attacked by Baron Corbin. This is something we've seen already. Cameron Grimes defeated him. Easy peasy lemon squeezy is what Asuka calls it, right? That's what she says. I like that. Easy peasy. Booted him right to NXT, where he's taken out NXT talent like Dragunov. A guy with so much potential down in NXT, and this guy's losing to a main roster guy, Baron Corbin, because he couldn't make it in the main roster. Then he gets to come back to the main roster and take out somebody who should be getting everything right now, like Cameron Grimes. But we've said that about guys like LA Knight, and they still are getting shit on. So I guess I shouldn't be shocked that they have Cameron Grimes in a 30-second backstage segment a month after his debut in a button-up shirt, a man bun, and being attacked by Baron Corbin. It's absolute bullshit, and BC's talking major bullshit. I'll tell you what's not bullshit. Dunkin' Donuts. They say America runs on Dunkin'. I don't give a fuck what America runs on. BC runs on Dunkin', bitch. Salute. Where am I? Where'd I leave off? I'm pissed off about the Cameron Grimes shit, man. And then LA Knight. Did I even do LA Knight? Oh, that's coming up. Hold on. That's coming up now, actually. So, as we continue in hour number 2, Rey Mysterio is out next with Santos Escobar. Now, Escobar delivers a heartfelt promo, and a lot of it was in Spanish. Now, usually when a wrestler speaks a great deal of Spanish, it's usually in an area where much of the crowd speaks and or understands Spanish. The problem here is, well, they were in Kentucky. The dude was pouring his heart out, and Kentucky be like, yeah. Yeah. They didn't know what the fuck. So you could tell there was times where he would stop and you're supposed to be like a big pop, right? Like when you see a Spanish wrestler speaking Spanish to a largely Spanish crowd, they're hyped. They pop at the right times, obviously. Here, you have a little bit of Spanish mixed in and the crowd is just like, yeah. Huh? What'd he say? Timmy, I thought you took Spanish in freshman year. For like a day. Well, what the fuck? Do you know what he say? I took a day. I don't even know how to say hello, goodbye, or fuck off. Everybody's looking at each other. Kentucky didn't have a fucking clue. So, my point is, I like the Escobar promo. Pouring his heart out, staying true to himself. But Kentucky? Did you gotta do it in Kentucky? Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. That caught BC's attention. Interesting. Moving on. Where do we move on to? Oh, that's it. We went to a commercial break. I think that's why it stood out so much, you know? I think the reaction was supposed to be better because he's telling Rey Mysterio he loves him and thank you for believing in me, and he's thanking the crowd or something, and he's talking about what he's going to do at Money in the Bank for Rey Mysterio and how it's his legacy or whatever the fuck. And then we just went to commercial with kind of a lukewarm reaction. Now, back from break, my boy, LA Knight, yeah, he's out next taking on Escobar. Theme of the night, quick matches, right? But we're not going to blame it on Paul Levesque. I know the narrative in the community. Let's blame it on Mustache McGee, Vincent Kennedy McMahon, because they're quick matches. You cannot blame this on Paul Levesque, basically. If it's bad, it's Vince. If it's good, it's Papa H. That's what I'm told. No, I'm not going to follow those rules. If it's bad, I'm also going to blame the guy who is literally called Chief Content Creative Officer. The guy who we are told by him himself, Paul Levesque, by Vincent Kennedy, by Nicholas Khan, by everybody underneath the sun that says this guy has most of the control in the company. That's not saying Vince doesn't have any say or can't make any change or change the big things or big and small. Of course he can. Nick Khan has a lot of influence. But the minute-to-minute operations is greatly or has greatly been under the thumbs of Paul Levesque. It's about time you start blaming him too. If not, that's fine. You ain't going to get far on this channel because we blame him on this channel. We don't just blame Vince. We're going to blame Paul as well. Pinocchio, you know, the guy who lies more than Pinocchio himself, Mr. Schnoz McGee. 2-minute match here, guys. LA Knight, obviously, if it's an LA Knight match, the crowd has always been behind LA Knight, even as a heel. So what does WWE do? They make him miss the last 3 pay-per-views in a row. Missed WrestleMania, missed Backlash, missed Night of Champions. Yep. Losing, 50-50 booked, and even worse all the time. And here's a 2-minute match. And LA Knight is pinned via a hold 'em down, awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating fruit roll-up. LA Knight loses via the hold 'em down fruit roll-up in 2 minutes. He's basically the new Shayna Baszler. Baszler would lose all of her matches, mostly anyway, in less than 2 minutes via the fruit roll-up. This is somebody who the crowd was so heavily behind. This is somebody that organically got over with the crowd. The night before Mania, literally chanting his name with a 20, 30 people in that battle royal. And it's LA Knight who was more over than anybody. And here we are still to this day, months after Mania now. Middle of June. And LA Knight is still losing via roll-ups. They're trying to get this dude to a point where the crowd finally gives up, and then they're like, well, what? You're not over. They're internally sabotaging this dude. So we say he's a front runner for the actual victory in Money in the Bank and to get the briefcase. Well, I would hope so. Because if he goes to that just to lose it, where do you go from there? His hole is being dug so deep that even if the machine gets fully behind him, you're going to spend so much energy just trying to get out of that hole that was unnecessarily dug that deep. The guy was super over months ago. Just put him over. No, in this company, that's too easy. They didn't make him. Vincent Kennedy didn't make him, so he doesn't want to push him. Paul Levesque didn't make him. It wasn't one of his NXT prospects that Papa H had full control over and truly created. So Papa H doesn't want to push him either. LA Knights, or let me put it this way. I'd say I honestly do not understand LA Knight's tragic booking. But truthfully, it's WWE's tragic booking that I just don't understand. It's WWE as a whole that I truly do not understand. LA Knight is a small microcosm of the larger problem. We move on to the Bloodline hitting the ring for the main event segment. Michael Cole makes it clear when he says, and I quote, "Next on the list is Pedro Morales, which Roman will pass next Friday." End quote. I'm going to say that again. As Roman is coming to the ring with Solo Sikoa and the wise man Paul Heyman, Michael Cole says, and I quote, "Next on the list is Pedro Morales, which Roman will pass next Friday night. WWE is now making it known that he's going for Hogan's 1474. I broke that to you guys over a month ago. It's becoming more and more vividly clear that that report is true. At any given time, they can change it, of course. But that was a massive quote by Michael Cole. Next on the list. I didn't know he was just knocking names down off the little... I didn't know that the 1,000 days was just the beginning. Now it's Pedro Morales. Then you're going to go, I believe, Bruno Sammartino. One of Bruno's big reigns would be next. Before you know it, a little over a year, it'll be the 1474. And they want Hulk Hogan out of that 3 spot. They want Roman to boot Hulk Hogan. Vincent Kennedy and especially Paul Levesque, they still deem Hulk Hogan that there's a lot of a bad negative stigma that still is attached to Hogan with the WWE. And if you guys know, you know. I could go way back into the 80s, into the 90s, the trial. You guys know what I'm talking about? And that stigma is still around, and that doesn't even have anything to do with the tapes, the leaked audio tapes. You guys know that. They want Roman to boot Hulk Hogan out of the 3 spot. So just don't be shocked if this reign truly lasts more than a year plus, all the way to 1474 plus, knocks out Hulk Hogan, and I doubt very much they would go for 2 after that, but you never know. But I think 2 is way more than 1474. Anyway, that was a big line by Michael Cole. I think they're looking way, 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 way into the future. And you thought Cody Rhodes was getting this thing? Nah. Roman 3 belts then cuts a promo, something about Lexington, Kentucky. Acknowledge me. That was the promo. And then Jey Uso hits the ring. Says it's wise man or it's me. You choose, Roman. Jimmy Uso hits the ring. And from there, we are green-lit full throttle for the actual Bloodline implosion to be completed. Because that's what happened when the night was over. Now, before I go over what happened, you heard me say Roman 3 belts. Well, yeah. 3 belts still. Roman has his conjointed, his all-in-one inclusive championship now. And Wise Man is still carrying both of the other championships, the original world and the universal. So he's a Roman 3 belts right now. Now, once everybody's in the ring, Solo, Wise Man, Roman, Jimmy, Jey. Roman tries to get Jey against Jimmy by saying that Jimmy was the only one that didn't want Jey to be the actual right-hand man. Paul Heyman was fine with it. Roman, Solo, Jimmy didn't want it. Jey looks at Jimmy and says, "Is this true?" Jimmy says, "Yeah, Oos, it's true." Jey is so torn up right now. You, my own brother, my own twin, did not believe in me. He goes, "I made my decision. You are out," he tells his brother Jimmy. And then he says, "I'm out too." And he super kicks Roman Reigns. The twins then take out Solo Sikoa. Wise Man flees. Roman is irate. He gets to his knees. He gets back to his feet. He wants answers. How could his own henchmen turn on him? As he goes to make his way to the Usos, thinking, and this was beautiful storytelling for so many reasons, but it's what a true dictating type leader would do. They're so narcissistic and they're so delusional in their own grandeur, right? They're so delusional in their own ego that Roman truly felt, storyline-wise, it's beautiful. He truly felt that maybe not a mistake, but he could still get the Usos to shut the fuck up, stand there, take an ass whooping, and fall in line. Even after Jimmy already said fuck you, And Jey just kicked his dome piece off. But he's so egotistical, so narcissistic, such a delusional dictator at that point, that he goes to walk over to them, like yelling at them, like they're his kids. How dare you? Get in your corner, take your ass whooping. And as he makes his way there, the Usos give him a double super kick, and Roman is dropped like a stack of bricks where he stood. He sold that, guys. I know he's the champ, so it literally is the words I'm going to use, but he took that like a champ. He just dropped so hard, man. It was all so beautifully done. And the Usos are celebrating. What they're celebrating is almost, it's right up there with getting a championship. They're celebrating their own freedom now. They're free. They're no longer under this weird dynamic of this leader who is actually just their cousin, should be an equal, somebody who's looking out for them as well, but is only looking out for themselves and has put himself above them. So they're farthest thing from equals. They're now liberated. They're free. There's so many layers to the story and what it means, you know? You could say, BC, you're reading a lot into it, but no, that's what makes the story so special. I would have held back on the implosion of the Bloodline for another full year. Only because, guys, there's so much more story that I could tell with the Bloodline. That has nothing to do with a Cody Rhodes, to be honest. I would have had Cody get the championship, and then the Bloodline moves in a different direction for a while. But there's so many stories I could have told, and I want the whole Bloodline together. Especially if you're going to do The Rock in the future, I want the whole Bloodline against The Rock and really start the story there. But they ran out of ideas. They didn't have anything planned for Cody going forward. They knew the Sami Zayn thing was basically done. They know this, guys. That's why Pinocchio lied to you at the media scrum after WrestleMania when he said there's more story to tell. Be patient. No, there's not. In a year, they could come back and wrestle each other, Cody versus Roman, and you could start another part of the story, but the story didn't continue. That book literally closed. The same characters are just getting back together in a whole nother book. That's what's going to happen. So you could say the story continues, but it's a whole nother book. You don't have anything planned. For WWE to tell you that they have something planned with Cody and Roman that far in the future, it's bullshit. They don't have anything planned 6 minutes into the future. So, you know, you get something like this, and even though creatively I would have went in a different direction, I say that it's because the Bloodline implosion is a storyline that you'd have to work extra hard for it to fail. It's sitting in your lap, right? When the Bloodline implodes, that's going to be epic. I mean, you'd have to try really hard to fuck that up. So you didn't have to just get right into it, is my point. But with nothing really left, I think they got kind of scared and they're like, let's do this now going into the summer. So the Bloodline is officially imploded as of, well, by the time you guys get this last night. For BC, about an hour ago. 45 minutes now, whatever it is. How long have we been going? We'll say 45 minutes-ish ago. The Bloodline is officially imploded. I would have held off a little bit on that. Doesn't matter what I would have done. WWE did it. The plug has been pulled. And it's the Usos no longer a part of the Bloodline. The Bloodline is now just Roman, Solo, and Paul Heyman. Don't know how I feel about that yet, but I do know that what happened tonight / last night on SmackDown, it was brilliantly, beautifully done. Everybody played their role masterfully. Roman continues to be masterful. I still stay very true to my word. Nothing that is being done with Roman Reigns would call for him having to have a championship with him. Nothing. I'll say it again. After Mania, he went away for almost 2 months. When he came back at an event called Night of Champions, he had a tag team match. Didn't even defend the championship. And now his big storyline going into the summer is his own family, his own bloodline imploding. Nothing Roman has done since Mania would call for him needing a championship. Everything Cody has done would call for him needing a championship, going to the UK, down to Puerto Rico, main eventing with Brock Lesnar. The only reason he would be feuding with Lesnar is because of the title, because Brock couldn't take on Roman anymore until Roman loses the title, right? That's the story we're told. That would be why Brock would take out Cody. I've said this a million times on the channel. I'll say it a million times more. I'm loving what Roman is doing now. It's the only thing in WWE that's truly captivating. But it doesn't need a title. And Cody did and does need the title. Because what they're doing, what Cody is doing, calls for the title. What Roman is doing does not call for the title. It would make sense for Roman to be this pissed because he lost the title. And that's why he's so irate with the Usos. You know, to be that pissed off and watching your own bloodline implode as you have the championships. Man, WrestleMania, that botch at WrestleMania, man, that booking botch. And having Roman walk up with the title, man, it's illuminating so much right now. But they're going for Hulk Hogan's record of 1474. So you're going to see Roman 3 belts for another year plus. But it is what it is, man. The storyline, with or without a title, whether it's done a year from now or last night, the deed has been done. It was done beautifully, masterfully, brilliantly. I don't know if it can stay this good going forward. That was the payoff. What are you going to see? Solo and Roman versus the Usos? Are we going to see a bunch of weeks of Jey versus Solo, Jimmy versus Solo, Jey versus Roman, Jimmy versus Roman? The Usos are one of my favorite tag teams in the world. You guys know that if you watch vividly these podcasts. I've been saying it for years. Briscoe brothers, Usos. So I love the Usos. Big Uso fan right here. If you think that I need to see the Usos trying to get the world champion, the Universal Championship, whatever they're calling it these days, from Roman Reigns, singly, no. If you think I need to see 100 matches with Jimmy and or Jey versus Solo, no. If you think I need to see Solo versus Roman versus the Usos, no. You know? Now, if you're like, well, BC, that's you. I can't wait, man. Cool. I'm not even joking. That's not even shade. It's too late to even throw that type of shade right now, man. To each their own. But I know there's a lot of people like BC that you're thinking about it and you're like, you're right, man. Like Usos versus Solo every week. Or Usos, Roman, Solo on a paper. Like, how is that? Are we really going to do that all through the summer? The answer is yes. You know, this is easy booking now. You know, you got 4 dudes that you're just going to throw in there in different varieties over the next couple of months. I don't know, man. I just think, like, the best part of this story, if not done correctly, if they don't put the same time, energy, and care into this going forward, the best part of this story could have just been done last night, an hour ago. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, man. Negative Nancy over here. Look at BC being a negative Nancy. I don't want to be that guy, but I think we may have just seen that big moment, man. Unless they have something bigger planned than just Jimmy and Jey versus Solo and Roman every week somehow. Or tag matches. We'll see, man. We'll see. But for this night, for that segment, I got nothing but high praise. Can't complain or critique this in a negative way because, man, did they have BC fully drawn into it. That's all I ever ask for, man. Give me shit that captivates. If only the rest of the show did that. Made sense. Gave me a reason to tune in next week. Instead, when I think back to this show outside of what happened with the Bloodline, I'm going to be thinking about Charlie Flair dressed as a Christmas ornament, or Bianca dressed as the snowflake on top of the Christmas tree. I'm going to think of Scarlett trying to get AJ Styles away from his wife. I'm going to think of Escobar speaking Spanish to a Kentucky crowd. That's funny to me. I guess that's it. I'd have to go back to my notes to say that I think of something else. No, I'm already forgetting it all. So, the show, lackluster at best. pretty shitty at worst. I don't think it was at worst, though, so I'm not going to call it pretty shitty. I'll call it lackluster at best. Bloodline, that's something that we'll be discussing for the next several days up front, leading into next week. All right, so that's it, man. That's my review. All right. Not too shabby, man. I don't like to do these right after the show. Because now I have a lot of business to conduct, too, before I catch my flight. So I guess there's no sleep really tonight. Maybe I'll sleep a couple hours on the plane. I don't know, because then I'm going to drink 5 coffees on the plane. I don't know. The point is, thank you guys for rocking out with BC. I'm glad that I was able to find time to do this. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, man. That's as candid as you're going to get with this type of show. You know, I wish it was an easier... I wish it was easier to review in terms of a positive reaction. And what I mean by that is I wish it would just have a nice, proper flow, segment by segment, things that we're looking forward to. Instead, there's just so many question marks to the point where we're befuddled. It's not fun questions that we can't wait to find the answers. We're befuddled by so much of it. So when I do these reviews, it's not a nice flow. It's a roller coaster. Now, I'm sure it makes it more entertaining for you guys, probably. We're all over the place, screaming at some shit, ranting on other shit, befuddled by other shit. But to review it, man, it would be nice if I could flow through this a little bit more, talk a lot more positively about the shows. I just can't, man. You know, and I can't sugarcoat or BS you guys. So I got to call out everything fairly and properly. Even immediately after the shows, you're not going to get BC running on adrenaline and all excited about what I just watched. No, even after the show, I'm going to tell you exactly how I was feeling during it and what I'm feeling like right now. And if I was to do this review tomorrow morning with a show like this, I probably wouldn't change my tune too much. I would just have a little bit more information for you guys. So that's what sucks about not being able to do this tomorrow morning. But I still may put this out early in the morning, though. I might not put this out overnight. I'm not sure, man. Maybe I'll let all the fucking numbnuts in the community fight over the first views, right? Try to get new subscribers and fucking battle each other like a bunch of hyenas to be the first to review the show. And maybe BC, just like always, will just come in the next day as the main event. Save the best for last. Speaking of the best for last, I'm going to save my amplified unit members to take us out of this podcast. The podcast I put up earlier today, Punk's ESPN interview released. BC goes through the article, tells you about all the schmucks in the community that clickbaited so many. Well, in that podcast, there was a lot of good feedback, and through that, some super thankses. So I want to give a proper salute to those super thankses. Big Nang with a 5-spot coffee in the super thanks, throwing BC a coffee and saying, "Thanks, BC. Is it just me, or is TK trying to build this up like a Wish version of Austin vs. McMahon, but in a different format view? Did you ever think of that? Stay amplified, BC and unit, red and gold team. Go!" I don't think Tony Khan is smart enough to do... He's a smart dude, trust me. I'm not trying to knock him. But I don't think he's smart enough booking-wise, creatively in wrestling, to even try a 2.0 version. Or a Wish version. A bootleg version of McMahon Austin. He could have done that easily with Punk, MJF, and several others. I just don't think he's got that type of creative juice. And we've seen that since the inception of AEW, unfortunately. So I'm not trying to knock the dude, but I don't think he could pull off an Austin McMahon type deal, and that's why you're not seeing it with Punk. Big Nang, appreciate you, bro. Salute. I'll be pounding that coffee on the airplane for sure. Clutch City fan with a 5-spot coffee. Super thanks, BC. Great interview. Thank you, Clutch City fan. I didn't give the interview, by the way, guys. That was ESPN. I just went over it. But Clutch City fan, I think that's what he means. But I'll take, hey, I could have done it. If I interviewed Punk, it would be much more intriguing with much bigger and brighter headlines, trust me. BC, great interview. Thank you for all the hard work you put in, playa. Thank you, Clutch City fan. You're ever in Houston, Texas, let me know. I'll buy you some drinks and some Texas barbecue. Salute, brother. I haven't been in Texas in so damn long, man. Southern hospitality. Texas hospitality, man. Fucking love Texas. Appreciate that, Clutch City fan. Salute, man. Means a lot. Completely humbled by this level of appreciation, man. Throwing BC coffees when it's seriously not needed. But I love getting those highlighted comments throughout the day, man. I'm like, somebody just threw me a coffee. Who is it? It's Dino. That's who it is. 2-spot coffee from Dino. Super thanks. Thank you, BC. Once again, as always, you speak the truth and nothing but the truth. Been away for a while, but I always make sure to catch up and smash that like button. Much love and respect to you and the unit. I also need to get my gold card back. LOL. Dino, it's all good, man. Sometimes people got to, you never know. Maybe there's a financial struggle or something and somebody can't afford the few bucks to be a member that month. So they have to cancel the subscription for that month, but sometimes people come back the next month or a couple months later. So I never ask Dino, and it's always perfectly fine. The tube updates the list every hour, so whenever I do shout-outs, I always have the up-to-the-minute list anyway. So it's not like anything gets thrown off when people have to cancel for a month or whatever. I always, even if you're only able to do 1 month, Dino, it's always appreciated, man. My red team, my full unit, and always showing up, smashing that up, that's what matters the most. The gold team, the channel membership, that's just the front lines. It is a top tier, but that's because I ask more of them. I do chats only for members, so I can get a good gauge of what I'm talking about, what you guys are thinking. I call my channel members the boardroom committee. And it's not just becoming a member and getting a gold card. It's earning your gold card because I have a lot of prerequisites. You guys know what they are, man. Being a gold card member, a channel member on this channel, it's a prestigious thing because I ask a lot out of you. So, Dino, you say I got to get my gold card back. I hope, brother. I hope to see you back in the gold team. But if not, do your thing, bro. The red team, my full unit, we run deep. And we rock this shit out amplified every single upload. So, red, gold, as long as you're in the unit, you're rocking out, Dino. That's all. You can tell it's been a long day. BC can just keep rambling, bro. Dino, I appreciate it. Big Nang, I appreciate it. Clutch City fan, I appreciate it. And if I did miss anybody, it's only because I wasn't able to see any more, or should I say I was doing my notes with SmackDown and then went right into this upload recording. So I couldn't catch any other super thanks as yet. But if I missed any, I'll get to you guys the next upload, which I hope to be, by the way, a special Sunday edition of Amped Up with BC. Not a full review, possibly, but I will be covering AEW Collision. You'll have my thoughts on that Sunday, hopefully. So, I'm going to end it there, guys. You guys go about your morning, day, night, whatever it is by the time this hits your sub box. You guys go about your day. You rock out. You stay amplified. All right? And you should already be subscribed and notified. So, you're going to have that little bell go off when I put my next upload up. When that happens, you come right on back, you smash that up, and we proceed to get amplified all over again. Until next time, and there will be a next time, Top Guy, I'm out, BC, saying check you. Salute.